Josh pops a wheelie into the neighbor's Suburban. Josh, my nephew, really a good friend of mine, started working for me when he was about 16. A great employee, great friend. We got very close. We know a lot about each other. I always wanted to be a good uncle, and he was I guess he was one of my nephews that I could be a good uncle to. But he worked for me roofing. He worked for me with doing different projects that I've done. So anyway, one day I brought this really cool bike that I bought. It's a Yamaha 350, a Yamaha 350 Enduro, gray, about a 1974, 73 version, approximately. I don't know, 76 maybe. But it was really a cool bike, and I always had pictures of those bikes hanging up in my bedroom because I mean a lot of guys had girls hanging up in their girls' photos hanging up in their room, and I had dirt bike photos and motorcycle photos, and I'd go down to the dirt bike shop or the local motorcycle shop, and I'd collect every motorcycle that I thought was cool, and I'd hang them up all over my room. I absolutely loved it. So anyway, I bought this 360 Enduro Yamaha, and I brought it to my house here in North Ogden, and I let my son Brandon, who was probably maybe 13 or 14 at the time, I don't know exactly how old he was, but I told him, you never let anybody drive this. Under no circumstances will you ever let anyone drive this motorcycle. He says, okay, sounds good to me. He just ride it around the house again and again and again and again. Well, anyway, one day we came home from roofing, and Josh, I don't know why, I says, we're going to head over to the roofing yard, and I'll just drive the bike over. I'll have Brandon drive the bike over to the roofing yard because I want to get it out of the property here. It was getting maybe close to winter. I don't know why, but anyway, I wanted to take it over the roofing yard. I think that's how I recall it. But anyway, so Josh went out, and my son was riding the motorcycle around the yard, through the driveway, back to the backyard, through the driveway, back to the backyard, boom, boom, boom. Anyway, he said to Brandon, he goes, Brandon, your dad wants me to take the motorcycle to the roofing yard. And Brandon's like, he does? He goes, yeah, he wants me to take the motorcycle to the roofing yard, so let me drive it. And Brandon's like, I don't think so. That doesn't make sense. He never said anything to me about it. Brandon was really weary about it. Anyway, finally Josh talked him into letting him take the motorcycle. And he was right out here in the front. And so Josh didn't know how to ride a motorcycle, and he revved it up and popped the clutch and did a wheelie across the yard, slammed into our neighbor's Suburban. And the neighbor, everyone comes out, Brandon, are you okay? They thought it was Brandon, but it was Josh, my nephew, who had lied to Brandon, took the bike, popped a wheelie into the neighbor's Suburban, just smashed the back end really pretty bad, totaled the bike, bent the forks really bad, totaled the bike. It was never repairable. But anyway, the neighbors came out, and they were all concerned about Josh, and then they saw what he did to their car, and then they were livid, and they were pissed. They were livid, and they were mad at me for 3 years. They wanted to sue us. They wanted to sue Josh and his family, but they didn't. Josh didn't have it. Josh and his family didn't have anything. And I just told Josh, I says, hey, you lied to Brandon. He apologized, but I says, you lied to Brandon. You pay for the motorcycle, and you pay for the Suburban. And I don't want to hear it from the neighbors. I'm not going to cover it with my insurance. It wasn't my fault. You lied. You take care of it. Anyway, he did. It took him a long time to pay it off. I believe he finally paid it off, but they wreaked havoc and hell on him. They wouldn't let him get his license for a long time, and there was a lot of stuff that happened. There was a lot of feelings and anger, but eventually it subsided, and I'm really good friends with those neighbors now. They're very good people, and I enjoy them. But it was really tense there for a few years. They wouldn't wave to us on our way back and forth to church. They wouldn't acknowledge us and so forth. They were pretty pissed. But I didn't do it. My son, my nephew lied to my son. I figured, you're paying for it, man. So anyway, he paid for that. And Josh paid me back for the motorcycle, maybe about $400 or $500. I don't know how much he paid me. It was probably, I don't know what it was, but he paid me about half of what he owed me. But the reason why he paid me half of what he owed me is I could tell he was under a lot of strain. He was trying to make money. He knew he had screwed up, and I didn't want to torture him to the nth degree. I wanted him to learn his lesson. But anyway, one day he came in the office, and I said, Josh, you're forgiven. And he said, what? I said, you're forgiven. You don't owe me any more money for the motorcycle. It's too bad that unfortunate that it happened, but I love you. You're a good young man, and I know you made a mistake. Don't pay me any more money. We're good. We're good at this point. It's all settled, and it made him feel really good. And yeah, we have a good close relationship. I love him, and he loves me. We get along really well. So it's been good. And these things are funny when we think about him lying to Brandon and then popping a wheelie and smashing into the Suburban. I'm like, oh my gosh, what else do I need to deal with? But there were several of those stupid things that happened when we were raising the children. They did some goofy things.